In 1996, as I was a young graduate from Howard University, coming back to my home state here of New York, and I wanted to give tribute to hip hop and kind of balance some of the negativity that was surrounding it. So I wanted to pull artists together just to have a night of celebration. This was 1996 in Harlem at the National Black Theater. How many people are familiar? National Black Theater, there we go. Yes, absolutely. So I did this just as a young woman wanting to pay tribute to the culture that I love so much. And you never know how people hear about the work that you're doing. So Pee Wee Dan said, April, KRS-One heard about the event and is interested in learning more. And I was like, get out of here. And fast forward, I don't know if it was a day or a week or whatever, I get a phone call. And he says, this is KRS-One, may I speak to April? And I was like, yo, I'm doing an event. I don't have time to be talking to some prankster. Can you get off my phone? Like, I was mad. I was mad that someone would be interfering with my time. And he was like, April, this is, I can't mock his voice, but if you can hear his voice.
Bro, it's KRS-One.
And I was like, no, for real, get off my phone. I don't have time. And then I was like, oh, snap. Then it dawned on me, Pee Wee Dance, the connection, and I was like, whoa, this really is. And then we had a forever conversation after that. And that's how this began in 1996, one-on-one, and he came and he blessed the space with Super Nat and Rockefeller, Quickstep and Rockefeller.
Oh, yeah.
They went on tour with you after that, after the show that I did there.
I met them there.
You met them there, yes. So and I didn't have experience as an event producer. That event was 8 hours long, by mistake. By mistake. And people talked about it for like 2 years after. And then after that, just to give you context, right? After that, you had the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace several years later. And we worked together during that time. And it was a genuine I always say this, you and Dougie Fresh, I used to be Dougie Fresh's assistant. You and Dougie Fresh have been two of the most pristine professional business relationships that I have had in all of my work within hip hop as an activist. And for those who are like, black people don't do business well together, like that's not true of this man. And Dougie Fresh and so on. So then fast forward 20 something years, I take a chance and like, okay, so I'm helping to curate this event. Let me see if I can find him. Decades had passed, and then here he is, fast forward. So can we please give KRS-One a round of applause for his commitment to the community and for the culture and sacrifices that we don't even know that he has made so that we can be elevated. So I just wanted to say that so you all know. So this is not going to be long, but it's going to be fruitful. So I'm going to sit down and I'm going to ask the question that I have. If I can get my notebook. Thank you. Oh, because you're on point, Jim. Yes. Before we get into the question that we talked about when you were coming in, do you want to say anything first? I don't want to.
No, you just blew me up, right? Yeah, that was crazy, and you brought back some memories. But no, we'll get to them when we talk.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go off the top because I'm gonna struggle with this book in my hand right here. So there's so much about the creative expressions in hip hop, right? Dance, music, graffiti, b-boy, all of those different elements. And we just had a conversation about what some people call the fifth element. There are a variety of fifth elements. Some people say fashion, beatboxing, it could go on. But because of who you are, I want to talk about the unobservable, sometimes indetectable, intangible aspect of hip hop, spirituality. And in what way do you, who have seen so much since, a long time ago, how, from a spiritual point of view, from the depth and the well from which you draw, How do you maintain your love for hip hop and the culture in a society that is hell bent on, in some ways, bringing it down or watering it down or misleading people about what the essence of it is? Can you talk to us about, from what well do you draw from for all of these decades to stay true to the essence of hip hop?
Wow. And it's funny you say that because we're in this illustrious building right here. This is surreal for me. Right now, I have to admit, I'm completing an affirmation tonight. This is so crazy. Back in like '84, okay, I was here visualizing this moment. It is such a surreal situation because I used to be in this very room, this room, okay? We used to be in the back over here studying, and you would think to yourself, let me answer your question. Let me get off my surrealism because I am so happy to be here right now.
Happy for you.
This is the point.
Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up.
You get that. Let me answer your question. First of all, you got to make a decision, okay? First of all, you got to make a decision. You say, how do we keep, in a world that's bent on crazy, how do you keep your sanity in that sense or stay consistent even with our work within hip hop? It's a decision. It's a decision, and it's not an easy decision for adults to make. It's a decision that a teenager has to make. When you're young, you have to make this decision. You can make this decision in older ages, but it's better to make it when you're very young. When I was 13, 14, 15, I made a decision, and I said, everybody was rapping, breaking. We was all out here. Prospect Park used to be jumping, okay, in the 80s with that. But there was something about the character of people and the neighborhood and all of this that for me, I couldn't articulate it at 13 or 14. But as I got older, I realized that talent meant nothing really. How great we were as MCs or B-boys or B-girls meant nothing. It was your character. And it was this lesson that I just kept staying with, your character, your being, your essence. Who are you? Why are you? Why are you here? And of course, these are philosophical questions as well.
I think very deeply.
Yeah, don't even start. These are philosophical. I'm over there in that other room over there, like deep in these philosophies. I'm like, you know what? But again, think about this. I don't know how that happened for me or why that happened for me. And when you mention spirituality, this is the piece right here where I just have to add this piece in because the first part of your question, it was a decision. I decided that when I pick up the mic, I'm going to try to enlighten the people in front of me. That's a decision. There were so many other MCs around, spitting all types of rhymes. Some were even, spitting the same type of rhymes I was spitting, conscious stuff. We used to call it reality rap back in the days. This is what we kick in. But the same person spitting the dope rhymes. I wanted to go rob the liquor store too. Same one spitting the dope. B-boy, you can do it. Your moves, your body is liquid, okay? You just look great when you dance. But you have an ailing mother that needs your assistance. And the story goes on. It's not always your fault. It's not always what you do. But for some reason, the circumstances of your life prevented you from getting where you had to go. That always shocked me. How cruel God can be if there is a God. Why do these people make it and these do or don't? And I saw this. I pinpointed on character. Character. Are you trustworthy? Are you easy to get along with? Do you practice forgiveness? Can you let things go? People wronged you. Do you hold resentment? I had to get past all that. Once I got past all that, I was able to see revolution clearly. Most revolutionaries still hold the baggage of selfishness, greed, guilt, doubt. You could be revolutionary all day. You could be the best MC all day. You could be the best B-boy, B-girl all day. But if you feel guilty, you cut your talent in half. And it's that doubt that also prevents you from getting where you gotta go. Think about this. Success is based on right answers. That's it. You want to be successful? Get the right answer. Most people don't know that. They say, I want to be successful, then they study wrong answers. They say, yo, I'm trying to get here, and you studying here. So the object of philosophy, what I learned in this great building, was how to make decisions and stick with a decision. So this is the first part, move over into spirituality. Now, I pride myself on being a philosopher. They say a little bit of philosophy leads to atheism, and the full philosophy leads to God. But I'm with that little philosophy part. I'm stuck over there. I love atheism. Okay, I like the concept of it. I just don't have the privilege of relying upon that as my reality. I don't have the privilege of it. I met intelligent forces in this universe that answered every single one of my requests. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm KRS-One, so on. Because I wasn't offered a record deal. All my record deals ripped me off. Every last one of them, okay? My publishing's all screwed up. Well, now it's better. But when I was coming up and I needed it, these companies were ripping us off left and right, okay? None of that's the issue. The point is spirituality. You know what you make me think about right now? Because I feel like I'm at home, right? I'm sitting here talking to all these people. And I actually feel like I'm actually at home. Because I want to speak about love real quick. I'm skipping over all this stuff that I had to go through. I'm cheating you right now. Because it was so much that went down that I'm just jumping over to say blanket words like forgiveness and love and this, that, and the other. Make a decision and da-da-da-da-da. But at the end of the day, a force that I did not think of, something outside of me helped me. That's all I can say. When I was on them streets out there, I used to sleep in Central Park as well. But Prospect Park, okay, that park right there was my living room, okay? I used to sleep right there in the dark, in night, we used to be right there, okay? And I would visualize, I said, but I'm not here. It was like 84. I said, I'm not here, I'm in 94. Okay, and I see myself rocking the mic, I see myself teaching, I'm doing my thing, and I'm having this affirmation right over there, okay, in this park. When it turned 9 o'clock and the sun come up, we come over here. Wow. And we would come over here, or I would come over here and study over there in the philosophy section. And this is the thing, now, I just think I'm living my life. No, you wasn't. Something bigger than me, something. It has no name, no form, it's outside of time, there is no way to pin it down, but you say to something, okay, help me. Right. This is it, just help. You see my situation, you see where I'm at. If there is a God, an ancestor, or anything, can you help me? That was me over there. And I said, here's how we gonna know that it's you. Because, and I said this, I said, I want to be the greatest rapper of all time. Now get this. Now that's just so arrogant. But this was the truth of it right there. I had no way of getting there. There was no way. There was no way. There was no way. It's like me talking to you right now saying, I'm going to be the president. And then 4 years from now, I'll become the president. It's like, just like we sit here talking just like this, and yo, I'm going to be the president. And then years later, I actually come in, like, I have no way of being the president right now, okay? I have no absolute way of running for any kind of office like that. No way. It was the same thing like this. No way. But I said, I was studying. I studied Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind. I read that here. James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. I read that here. When Dianetics first came out, I read that here. Okay? These people were pushing ideas about the mind and how you could elevate yourself by thinking your way out of your situation. I believed it. I came in here, started reading, and I started applying it. It started with affirmation. He said, whatever you want in your life, start saying it every day. When you wake up in the morning, when you go to sleep at night, your conversations, talk up your purpose, talk up your dreams, talk up your vision. I talked my vision up, talked up my dreams. Everybody I'm talking to, listen, I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to be the greatest rapper ever. I'm going to be da-da-da-da. We had no way to do nothing. I'm walking around. I'm hungry. I'm dirty. I wander across the Williamsburg Bridge. I get to Canal Street. I'm around the Bowery. I'm walking around. I see this big place with a whole bunch of people standing outside on a line. What is this line? I asked the guy, what's this line? Why y'all standing on line? The man turned to me and said, boy, if you want something to eat, you better get on this line. So I was like, oh, okay. So I jumped on the line, waited 2 hours. We on this line inching up. We could smell the food. You come around, they was baking something nice in the shelter. We were all waiting to get there. I get right up to the guy. He says, yo, where's your meal ticket? Meal ticket? Yeah, you need a meal ticket. That was it. 2 hours, no food. You had to go up now. Wait another 2 hours in social services. Now I'm sitting there 4 hours in. Still ain't eat nothing. Lunch, that was lunch. Lunch gone now. Now you got to wait 2 more hours for dinner and get back on the line. So I went through this whole thing, got a meal ticket, got everything, got on the line, got that. Now the buses pull up. The school buses. School buses pull up. After you eat, you get on the bus and they take you out to a shelter randomly in New York. You don't know if you're in Brooklyn, Bronx, whatever. I get on the bus. Randomly, we go to 166th Street in Boston Road. Men's shelter, the Armory. It's a women's shelter now. When I was there, it was a men's shelter. They had just opened it. The tanks were still in the Armory, actually. Our beds were next to tanks. We sleeping in the Armory. Me and another guy named Just Ice. Just Ice was my buddy. He was in there. We was in there together. And you think your steps are your own. You walking, you're living, but you're being guided. In the shelter, a new social worker walks in. His name is Scott Sterling. Comes in with a suit and a tie, suit, jacket, briefcase. I'm the social worker. How can I help you? So he's a social worker for like 300 guys, 300 people. I'm one of them. I go in. I need tokens to go down and get a job. He said, if you ain't got the job, I can't give you the tokens. I said, how am I supposed to get the job without the tokens? Boop, 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 boop. We go back 15 minutes with this argument. Well, how am I supposed to get the job? If you don't have a job, I can't give you the tokens. Well, we going back and forth. Finally, I get up in frustration. Oh, you just one of those house niggas holding the white man's money. You want to dole it out to me. Now you want to act like you above me. I called him out right there. walked out the office. Just as I get ready to walk out, he stands up. Brother, wait a minute. You don't even know me or who I am. This is how he's talking. He put his briefcase, put his thing down. He said, yo, my name is DJ Scott LaRock. I'm playing Broadway RT. This da-da-da-da-da. I was like, what did you just say? He said, yo, I'm dumb. This ain't me. Don't get it twisted. And broke me down right there. I left. Still aggravated. Still ain't get the tokens. Walked out. Man, these sellouts in this building, man, these people. He argued with me. Said, yo, here you are, another black man failing in life. This was the argument we were having, right in the social worker office. He said, here you are, another black man failing. Why don't you get up and do something? And I was like, so it came all around. I left. He pissed off. But there was a guy named Said G. The group later on became Ultramagnetic MCs. But Said G used to live in Webster Projects with his moms, okay, and his brothers. I was a graffiti writer at the time. I'm in the bathroom putting up KRS-One in the bathroom. Get caught by the security. Security rolls up. What you doing? Oh, put my name up. He said, security came out and was like, yo, I write Flasher. He came and put his name up. This was security. This dude was in a security outfit, caught me bombing. He said, I write too. Wrote Flash. And by the way, Flasher was huge. This dude was up everywhere. For those that are into graffiti, there's a graffiti crew called the Rascals, TR. Pre-Sweet, Mr. Mayor, Flasher. These dudes were kings of graffiti. They were up everywhere. Okay, their names were everywhere. All city. I knew this only by name. So when Flasher was in the bathroom with me, putting up his name, I was blown away. I was like, yo, you're Flasher? Yes, I'm Flasher. And he was a security guard in the shelter. He said, yo, I hear you and this guy Just Nice rhyming. I got a friend named Said G. You need to go to Said G house and see what it is. So I went to Said G house because of Flasher. Got there. First thing is moms come up. Boy, did you eat? Did you eat, boy? And she like, you know, mother's guy like looking at your face. Like, boy, did you eat? Did you? Now keep in mind, we some scroungy dudes from the shelter, okay? We in the street, okay? We come in this woman's house, dirty, stinking. She sits us down to this plate of food. Yo, let me tell you, April, I remember to this day, okay? In the shelter, you have plastic forks. Sorry. In the shelter, you have plastic forks. You eat, everything's plastic and plate. Yeah. We eating like this for years. I was in the shelter like 4 years, okay? This is all I know, plastic plate. Now we sit down in somebody's home at a table. See, this stuff we take for granted. I couldn't pick up the fork. I never forget this. She sat us down, me, ICU, somebody else was with us. Sat us down to this table, put the food in front of us like chicken and something, mashed potato, some old black folk food, okay? We sitting there eating. I couldn't get the fork. The fork was heavy. It was like I had to readjust my hand to handle a metal fork. Wow. The plastic, the paper, it was like my reflexes were off. So I picked up this fork. I'm trying to eat with this new tool. Because that's what it felt like. I'm eating this, so she's like, what y'all gonna do? How y'all gonna make it in this world? Boy, don't you realize? And she's just grilling us like, don't you realize what's out here for you? Don't you realize? And we're just sitting there eating the food, listening. So Senji is like, Mom, you don't have to give him the speech. He saves us, brings us in the back to his bedroom that had a 4-track recorder and a drum machine, an SB 1200 drum machine. That's what he had in his house. He handed me the mic. Said, what you got? About 15 minutes later, I was his MC, said G. Yo, you got to be down with us. For a hot minute, I was Ultramagnetic MCs for a hot minute. Cool Keith was like 10, running around, okay? And so said G start banging these beats. I start going to his house every day, really. Get to his house maybe the 5th, 6th day. In walks the social worker. In said G's house. I'm there, said G had about 8 other MCs. I'm grilling them. We getting it in. Cypher is on. And see, what really made the Cypher really good is that we used to rhyme for money. Back in the people don't rhyme for money no more. I mean, it's a different way they do it now, but back in the days, it used to be a 20. Everybody put a 20 on the ground. Boom, 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 boom. And it was like 8 of us. It was like a $200 pot. And it was like, me, I'm going back to the shelter? Well, no, I'm taking all your money, okay? Everybody here paying, okay? Everybody. Because these people were eating every day. They were fly. I'm coming from the shop. I had nothing, okay? You say, how do you maintain? When you have nothing, you see how fast your skills get perfected. At the end of the day, I practiced on these dudes in said G's house, wiping them out one at a time. You, let's go. Boom, 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 you out. Let's go. Boom, 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 you out. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. So said G is amazed. He's sitting there like, yo, I've never seen nothing like this. I'm freestyle. I'm off the top. I'm doing written stuff, all types of stuff they never heard of, okay? He's amazed. But in walks the social worker. So the social worker sees me getting it in with a bunch of dudes. I'm getting it in. So he goes over, he says, yo, what's up with that dude right there? He said, yo, that's S, man. They said, I was KRS. They used to call me S. Yo, that's S, man. That's what it is. So the social, he was like, yo, let's talk. So we went on the side and Scott wanted to talk. So we started talking. He was like, yo, that other day was crazy. And he said, yo, let's just start over. He said, let's just start over. And we started over. And he was DJ Scott LaRock. I'm KRS-One. We said, look, let's form a group. We called ourselves Scott LaRock and the Celebrity 3. It was 3 of us, me, this other guy named Jerry Levi, and a female named MC Quality. The 3 of us together with Scott as the DJ. We signed to Zakia Records in '85 with Eric B. and Rakim. This is before Eric B. for president even. They had signed to Zakia. Their record came out on that. We all in the street, all of us. Eric, Ra, me, Scott, everybody, okay? The crack cocaine era's coming up. 83, LA been getting hit, okay, from like 79. They was already ravished. 83, 84, this plague comes to New York. Conscious MCs are saying, stay away from that. We don't need to do that, putting it in the rhymes. Others are like, yo, you need to smoke this because in your rhyme. We was like, this is a violation of everything we are about. But it was deep because the crack cocaine era violated all the rules of the streets. Not just rap rules, but even gangster rules and like the way families used to operate in this city and so on. All that got wiped out. All of that. No more rules. No more principles. No more respect the elderly as they walk down the street. Don't write on churches. Show some reverence to the teachers in your name. All that went out the window. Everybody smoking crack or selling it or getting shot because of it. Cops wasn't throwing nobody in jail yet. They was just letting the black community die, period. Cops would go by. You see the dude selling on the corner. Cops drive right by. Right by. This street here was a war zone. You did not walk down this street after dark in the 80s. This was a ghost town, okay? You find yourself, and you walk in Prospect Park. I used to sleep in Prospect Park. You can hear the gunshots go off, all type. We used to be in the park. listening. We used to be by Parkside over there. We used to be by Parkside listening, and you could tell what kind of gun was being fired. Like, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's the 9mm. Yeah, that's the AK. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's the. And we used to sit there and joke about it, like, yo, this is young kids. We just growing up. Okay, this is what it was like in Brooklyn before gentrification. This is what it was like, okay? But it gave us a strength. There was a survival strength about Brooklyn. Do or die, Bed-Stuy. Like, we lived this out, okay? These were not just words to say. You had to do or die. That's what it was. Right around the 90s, the cops started acting stupid. Now they start arresting people for no reason. Now they start acting crazy. Now the cops have always been acting crazy, but in the 90s it got real like the blatant corruption. Like it just got out of hand. Amadou Diallo, all of this stupid stuff start jumping off right around the 90s. So we start rhyming about it. Whoop, whoop, sounded the police. Over on the West Coast, fuck the police. It was unanimous in every hood. This is the enemy. Now, we did something called the Stop the Violence movement. I'm breezing over that. It's a song called Self-Destruction. Came out. We responded to this. We said, no, hip-hop is not about that. Here's what hip-hop is really about. And we put the message forward. Black entertainment television wouldn't play the music. Kiss FM wouldn't play the music. WBLS wouldn't play the music. Most of the black stations refused to play Stop the Violence. So I started doing research and digging deeper. Why is this going down? Realized 1991, George Bush Sr. declares war or invades Iraq. Oh, well, actually, Iraq invades Kuwait. He got to save Kuwait. They start running up on Iraq. Bah, 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 bah. So the Gulf War begins. I studied in this place a concept called colonization. Okay, the concept of colonization. I saw it right there. I said, they're gonna go in and colonize these people. We got on the mic. We said, yo, they're gonna go in and colonize these people. Don't fall for it. Wake up, stay awake, okay? Now we do further research. The head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the military was Colin Powell, General Colin Powell from the South Bronx. His son, Michael Powell, was head of the FCC. I said, yo, don't y'all see what's happening? They're getting ready to militarize the whole country. You forgot the Hummer. When the Hummer came out, this was the military selling one of his vehicles to finance the war. Everybody jumping in the Hummer. We was like, you don't know what you're doing. No, we don't. We're just doing it. And you are a hater. You are a hater. Why are you criticizing me? You ain't better than me. You ain't this. Nobody's saying that, but you don't understand what a blood diamond is. All through the 90s, diamonds, we got ice on, we icy. We coming like, yo, you ever heard of a place called Darfur? Yeah, you ever heard of a place like, they cutting the kids' hands off and like, for these diamonds you wearing, and it's these diamonds you wearing. Because we knew about Sierra Leone, we knew about Taylor, the president, and the diamonds for the war and all that. We tried to warn our people in all kinds of ways. The opposition, though, was our people. I'm gonna say it again. We tried to warn our people, but the opposition was our people. Most of the people you see standing up today, talking about black this and black that, they were sellouts in the 90s. Dudes don't want to hear it, they don't want to talk about it, but you remember, oh man, well, you was on the front lines the whole time. When we decided to declare hip hop a culture, when I first said hip hop is a culture, It was our own people that fought against the concept, which is it's normal when you introduce new ideas to a society. They gotta push back. But if the idea is strong and it's the truth, you're going to win this argument. The argument was, rap is something we do, hip hop is something we live. Hip hop is not a music entertainment. Hip hop is a lifestyle that causes music entertainment. This was the debate. I debated Michael Eric Dyson on this, my good friend. We debated all types of professors on this. Nobody agreed with the concept. It was a revolutionary thing for you and I to go into the United Nations. We called up Kofi Annan at the time, or no, he was the UN, he was the head of the UN at the time, and we got in touch with the press secretary. And Kofi Annan, at the time, he approved us to come into the United Nations to declare hip hop an international culture. We walked in with UNESCO. It was very important that we had UNESCO's backing on this, because UNESCO is United Nations Scientific, Educational, and Cultural Organization. We wanted UNESCO to be behind us. They jumped behind us. The deputy director of UNESCO in New York actually showed up to the UN, gave a speech, sanctioned us. It was great. April organized the whole thing, okay, from start to finish. I got the film as well. We recorded everything. And April is there 2-3 days earlier at the UN, organizing where everybody's going to be, organizing security, organizing. And this was important because people did not believe that hip hop can govern itself. We was just a music genre. So we came out with the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace. We put that before the United Nations, 18 principles that govern hip hop. It deals with conflict within hip hop. These are the principles we should not go past for our cultural preservation. The United Nations accepted it. UNESCO accepted it. Peace Action accepted it. Riverside Church on Columbia campus accepted it as well, along with Union Seminary School and all of those guys over there, NYU as well. All of these professors came out, all of these institutions came out. We all agreed this is what it is. But just like the US Constitution, when the US Constitution was first written and what they say ratified or completed in that way, no one knew that the United States even had a constitution. These pictures we see of all the members of Congress and the early government sitting in a room signing a document, that's all a lie. None of that ever happened. Those are all pictures. Most of American history, if you trace it all the way back, is cartoons. If you trace everything back, everything, the history of the entire United States, whether it's slavery, constitution, economic system, the wars, any of it, if you go all the way back to the source of the information, it's going to be a cartoon. It's going to be artwork. And from that artwork, we get books, scholars. You get all of this. All of civilization is based on art, interpretation. We realized this early on, and guess what? We also realized that revolution only works for those that participate in it. You could yell to your people till you're blue in the face. If they themselves are not participating in their own advancement, that's it. That's it. So, back to the question and the long answer. How do you maintain in a world that's like this? Well, first I made a decision. Second of all, there was an invisible force that brought me right here. I have like I said, atheism is a wonderful philosophy. I just don't have the privilege of relying upon it because I know how I got here. Okay, there is something beyond everything that we see. The five senses is not reality. Five senses is trapping us in its own abilities. I'll say it one more time. Our five senses are trapping us in their abilities. Smell, touch, taste, sight, hearing. These are limitations. These are not great abilities. These are limitations. If we could get past our senses, the world opens up. And again, Hinduism teaches this. Buddhism teaches this. Many religions teach this. But we now live in a world where science is the new religion. Commerce and science is the new God. And technology is the new angel that's going to save us. AI is going to save us or destroy us. But my point is, well, that's what everybody says. Oh, it's going to destroy us. Oh, it's going to this, that, and the other. The first thing, again, the minute something new comes out, we got to put hate on it. We got to put murder on it. We got to put death on it. And this is the thing about character.
And that's a wonderful way to come back to it is. I don't know how to end this. But I have to pause it. I have to pause it. Let's say that. I have to pause it, right?
Yes. It doesn't end.
I'm speechless. Like I'm inside, I am crying and yearning for more. So we just got to talk after this.
Yes, we do.
Because we got to continue this. We have some unfinished business.
Yes.
And just because in this reality, in this moment, I think there's another program in here.
Yes.
So we want to let the knowledge continue, but it's going to come in the form of other human beings. How about that?
It should.
Come in the form of.
Yes.
We're going to open it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly how knowledge should be transferred.
I got to say this on camera real quick, if I may.
Yes.
This shirt that I'm wearing, so I'm going to be like this for the rest of the night, right?
That's hard.
This is the first product from the first hip-hop conference at Howard University in 1991. The first hip-hop conference on a college or university campus started 30-something years ago. And I just need y'all to know that this is the first time I've worn it because I was the co-founder, co-founder. First time I've worn this for this night because we paying tribute to hip hop. So I just had to.
Come on, bring that to light. And you said A, co-founder. I think you should say B. Yeah, I know there were others. I know.
It was a bunch of us.
Yeah, I know.
A bunch of us. Real talk.
Couple of lawyers.
This is on camera, so even if it's the truth.
It is the truth, but you know what, April, let me say on camera as well, leadership is leadership. You're a leader, and I'm here to confess. I have you on film. I have all kind of audio on you. I got pictures of you leading, okay? Leading. That thing you brought up at the National Black Theater, I had to be, first of all, your promotion was crazy. Okay, everybody knew where the event was. There was no excuses. But then what you was putting forward was so real for the time. And like you can see, I'll end with this. We have another program coming. I'll end with this. Make a decision about your own leadership. In this room tonight, people don't realize they're in a historical event until it's too late. This is a historic event that's going down. The library is open all night. Do you understand what a homeless dude would have did with this? This library used to close at 9 o'clock, okay? Open at 9, close at 9. 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? 8 o'clock. This is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful event that is going down in this building. Take advantage of it. You're in history.
I love you